Hi, welcome back to Burning River Bushcraft. Today we're going to be making a Flemish Twist bowstring. So the material we're going to be using today is B50. This is bowstring. This is what this is made for. It's like a wax coating on this. I got this from Three Rivers Archery. So this B50 material goes a long way. One spool of this would have been fine. I chose to go with a two-color string because it's easier to learn on. Now that I know how to do it, I kind of wish I could just make a black string or a black and a gray. I would prefer to have a more low-profile string in a lot of cases, but I've got so darn much of this stuff. I'm just going to use this, and it's just going to be my signature style. Now, because this bow has already been shot with the tillering string, I've got my string right here, and this is going to give me approximately the length I need. Now, granted, there's extra length involved for the timber hitch, and when we fold and make the eye in the Flemish Twist, that's going to use up a lot of string also. So we're going to go long with this. We're going to start out with 8 feet of string for a 6-foot bow. So this is going to be comprised of multiple wraps. So this is going to have green and the tan twisted together, like I mentioned. Now, because this by itself won't hold the weight of your bow, the amount of strands you're going to use is going to depend on a couple things: the weight of your bow, the type of nocks you're using. I go with 12 strands. That seems to be my go-to for all of the bows that I've done. If you've got knock fit issues, you can go less. If you've got a heavy poundage bow, you might want to step it up to 14 strings. So I'm going to be pretty unscientific with this. I'm going to call one arm span 6 feet, and then give me an arm length. So this is going to be the guide for all of them. I'll just double this out, and I'll have a pack of 6 tans and 6 greens the same length. So now that I have my 6 tans, I want to keep that separate from my other color. Like I mentioned, it's a little bit easier to learn if you've got 2 different colors. Now that I've kind of figured it out, I really wish I just had one color. So I've got 6 tans in a bundle here, and I'm going to set that aside and do the same thing with the green. So I'm a pretty big proponent of natural cordage. I make a lot of reverse wrap natural cordage. So if you know how to make reverse wrap cordage, you're already ahead of this game when making a Flemish Twist string, because the process is nearly identical. So I've done this quite a bit, and I don't use a jig when I do it. Now, in my box of bow gear, I found a couple paper binders. So these little clips, when I first started, I used them to clamp the string. So if for some reason I'm doing a twist and have to stop, I can put the paper binder clip on it, and it keeps it from unraveling. You're going to be doing 2 ends at once, and the other end's going to be kind of an open-ended wrap. So I usually trap it under my finger. I've done it enough without the binder that I just don't think about it anymore. If you're having difficulty, don't even think about it. Get some paper binders. Go ahead and use anything you can to give yourself a little bit of a boost. Now, this B50 is a waxed coated string. So if you're used to reverse wrapping natural material, this is easy. This stuff wants to wrap, it wants to twist, it works out really, really well. To get this started, I've got both ends even here, approximately even. I'm going to come in about a fist and a thumb, so give it about 6 inches. And I'm going to start my wrap at about 6 inches. All right, so here's the process. I've got all the greens in one bundle, all the tans in the other, and I'm about 6 inches in. And at this point, I'm going to start a normal reverse wrap. So I've just got them overlaid here, and I'm going to twist the green away from me, pinch the tan, roll it to the top. I'm going to roll the tan, pinch the green, flip it to the top. And it takes a few runs here before it starts to stick. But once you are, a 1/4 inch or so into it, it starts to hold on its own. So if this end is starting to unravel on you, like I said, I normally just kind of pinch at my fingers. This is where you would use that paper binder. I'm going to continue the same process, rolling the top one away from me, pinching the bottom, and twisting it backwards. I've got several other natural cordage videos on the channel, and it's all the same. Now this back half, this is the remainder of that 8 feet. This does get twisted from time to time, and I just keep up with it. Don't let it get away from you. All right, so I have maybe 2 inches or so twisted up. Now this is just normal reverse wrap. Here is the 6-inch piece that we started with the end, and here is our full length 8-foot piece. Now we're going to form the loop that's going to go around the bow itself. So because it's available here, I'm going to use the actual bow this is going to go on. If you were making a generic string for multiple bows, I'm sure you can find a happy medium for it. But you're literally just going to find what size fits around your limb. And this is actually a little too big right now. I made this loop a little too long, which is kind of what I wanted to do. So to make it smaller, I'm just going to unwrap a couple twists. If you were short, if the loop did not go all the way around the bow, then you would just continue twisting it more. So this seems about right to me. So you can kind of mock this up, see how this fits. A couple different ways you can do this. You can have it slide down your limb if you want it to be attached all the time. So I now have the size loop I'm going to be working with. So now I have the size loop. I don't need the bow anymore. So I'll do it again here. You can see what I'm doing is I'm just folding this over, and now the greens lie with the greens and the tans are going to lie with the tans. And so there's our loop. Now I'm just going to keep doing the exact same twist. I'm going to give it a couple twists to get it started, and this just carries out. So I'm going to twist, roll away from me, pinch the bottom, spin it to the top. There we go. And again, this stuff's wax, so it really wants to stick. Now at this point, the loop that's formed, you're not that far into it, so you can actually check it on your bow again. Make sure you're going to be happy with it. If it's too tight, you're going to struggle. If it's too loose, it could actually slip off. So this seems pretty good to me. And we're going to keep wrapping, keep reverse wrapping. So I'm twisting away, pinching the bottom, rotating it. So during this part of the string, instead of having 6 greens and 6 tans, I've actually got 12. So I've got doubled over, 12 and 12. Now you can see these aren't perfectly cut, so I'm going to start running out of some of my tans before I run out of the greens, and that's really no big deal. I'm coming into that right now. So at this point, I'm going to transition automatically from 12 back to 6 again. There, it's a perfect example of it right here. See, I've got some long ones, some short ones. The greens just happen to be a little longer, but this wax lets everything pack together. This end here, I'm just keeping it controlled. I'm not letting it twist up crazy. Okay, I am getting very close to, and right now I am back to 6 and 6. And here's our splice. So we spliced an I There's the eye itself. And down here at the bottom, let me give a couple more wraps and it'll show up better. There we go. Some of the wild hairs are popping out. Now you can dance a match over those and burn them down. You can also, we're going to wax the entire string, and it's going to just make it lay a little bit better. So now that we're done with that splice and we have our eye, at this point you can work through this in minutes. This is not going to take long at all. And the more you practice using reverse wrap cordage, the faster and quicker you're going to be. Keep tension on it the entire time. This backhand here is working up the string, and at this junction I'm just pinching it. So I'm keeping it from unraveling and just working my way up the string. You'll see the loop end just gets longer with each twist. And this is really easy compared to natural cordage just because it's already waxed. I'm going to go ahead and work through this process all the way out till the end of the string, and I'll show you how we're going to end it. So I'm pinching with this finger just to keep it from unraveling. The green is going to get rolled away from me. I pinch the tan, roll it to the top. After making several bowstrings, you will be a natural cordage making fool. You'll be twisting every type of natural fiber you can come across. So I got most of the Flemish loop string done. There's the spliced in eye. There's our transition point. And there's the string, and this is too long. I mean, I made it long on purpose. Now, there's two different ways to do this. The way I originally did it is you'll just double this back down. I would have a little more untwisted, and I would just double this down and make a loop going the other way. The problem with that is if your loop's not exactly the right length, you can twist the string to lengthen it, or untwist, or twist the loop to shorten it, or untwist it to lengthen your string a little bit and tune it, but you don't have that much adjustments. So what I do, and I started doing this and it just works better for me, I just go ahead and twist out the whole thing. This point of it is really irrelevant. It's going to get cut off past this anyway, but it just looks better in my opinion. So I'm going to go ahead and just finish this out. And at this point, once I run out of the first shortest string, I'm just going to cut it all off because I'm not going to finish that out. Now I have an adjustable string, so I can make one string for multiple bows. When you put this on a bow, it is going to stretch when you shoot it. So it might look fine. You might have made a perfect string, the perfect size. It's all well and good, and then you shoot 50 shots and it starts to stretch out. So by making an adjustable string and using a timber hitch, you can adjust it in the field. So because this is going to need to be adjusted, I'm just going to throw it in at any point right now. And a timber hitch is basically a loop around. And then my tag end, I'm just going to twist. I'm going to give it 1, 2, I'm going to give it 3 loops. And then this, the timber hitch end, this tag is going to be longer, and I'm just going to trim it to length, and it will be adjustable when this string stretches, or if something happens, I can leave this a little longer and loan this string out to somebody else if they happen to need one. When I need to make an adjustment, because my other end is a fixed eye, so there's really no adjusting this, I'm going to give myself slack in the loop. I'm going to untwist it, And now here's a known length for me. So I'm just going to move it up the string about a 1/2 inch, twist it out, and there you go. So this is the spliced end, and you can see those wild hairs on it where it just didn't quite lay in right. So now that these are all burnt down, I'm just going to put a little bit of wax on it when the string is on the bow. So this is the Flemish Twist string. This is a timber hitch variation on it. So this is an adjustable Flemish Twist bowstring. Now there is no serving on it. That's because I do this without a jig at all, but I do need a serving tool to put the serving on. So I'm going to actually do that in another video because that's a little more difficult process to learn than just the Flemish Twist, which is a whole lot similar to reverse wrap twisting natural cordage. All right, so if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and click like, click subscribe, ring the bell to be notified of my next video. My next part of this video, I will be putting a serving on this Flemish Twist string, and then we'll probably set it up either in the same video or in another one with the proper knock point and everything else. Till next time, this has been Jamie Boggs with Burning River Bushcraft. See you soon.